Tristar is a fuel logistics company, as some of you know or don't know. We do a lot with the UN, particularly on DPKO. And so since about 1988, when we were established, we've gone from 3 trucks to 21, 22 countries now. A major shareholder from Tristar is Agility. They own 80% of the shares of Tristar. Agility, you'll see a lot with some of the things they're doing in Africa in creating warehouses that are available in Mozambique, in Ghana, and their goal is to have 100 warehouse parks in Africa within the next few years, for those of you that are looking for pre-positioning options. So again, as you can see, Tristar is in about 21 countries now, predominantly in Africa. We work with a lot of companies, the UN, we work with the US military, and we work with a lot of the oil majors, which is a challenge in itself because their standards are much different and much higher. So very quickly, those are our 5 main verticals. So we do mainly distribution, we do storage, and again, we've branched out into shipping. We started off with 1 or 2 ships, now we're up to 28. One thing that we started last year, which goes into some of the things that were mentioned earlier, is we decided to play with blockchain. And we implemented a blockchain distribution within Dubai. Why? Not because we want to blaze and lead the world in blockchain, but all the big boys, when they develop their blockchain, if you've got blockchain, you can plug and play. So for that last mile delivery, if you've got something that you can offer somebody, they're going to come to you first. And it's cheap, it's easy to do, and we will come on to Movidius and to other things very quickly. And again, so as you can see, we're mainly in most of these places in Africa, and for a lot of those places, I have lived for 1 year to 3 years in, so I know a lot of the challenges in Africa. So in South Sudan, a lot different from when we first went there in 2004. Again, a lot of the places, people don't take advantage of the river network, so in Congo, in Sudan, we have the barges, and we built these deliberately to overcome some of the supply issues. Central African Republic, another great place. We do a lot in Mali. Mali has its own particular challenges. This year alone, we've had 30 trucks burnt through either attacks, or if they break down, we're obliged to set fire to them so that people don't take the products. Within Somalia, we've been there a long while and do some work with Sanjeev and other people there. So in all of these countries, we've tried to then sort of set down commercial routes, and we'll come on to that why later. In Uganda, we've won the contract to redevelop the airport refueling in Uganda, and that was through a system called Open Access, which we stole and copied from Hong Kong Airport. Basically, if I build something, I don't stop my competitors using it. So if I build a warehouse, if I build something, anyone can use it. We all agree the price. So you don't duplicate infrastructure, but you don't also restrict competition. It was the first time it was done here. So then we come on to the main bit why you're all here, which is humanitarian logistics. One thing I'd like to highlight is there is a difference between commercial logistics and humanitarian logistics. Humanitarian logistics is governed by people like the Red Cross and some other things. We have some other issues to think of. If I'm late with your package for Christmas, you're going to be upset. But if I'm late with your food, you know, it has a severe impact on your quality of life. There's a difference in some of the environmental challenges you face. The road can be there today, it's washed away tomorrow. The airport is there today, there's an earthquake tomorrow. All of these things, they change very quickly, and you need to find ways to get around them. On the environmental thing, I would say that as long as, you know, a lot of you hear from organizations, in a lot of the procurement requirements, there's nothing in your procurement matrix for me to put anything on the environmental offers that I make to you. So I'd like you to think about something like that. And again, the other thing with humanitarian logistics, you'll be doing nothing for, I mean, the good one was the hurricane that's just hit the Bahamas. WFP had their team pre-positioned there for nearly 1 year before they had to do something. So a lot of the time you're sitting there, you're waiting, and then suddenly you need to upscale very quickly, very fast. And so you need to plan. A lot of them have put, you know, we're similar to the HLA, WFP have the humanitarian logistics teams where they can come to commercial companies and say, we can't cope at the minute, can you help us? And as part of the humanitarian logistics teams, we come in for 6 months and then we do what we can to help with these logistics teams. Then going on to what Mike was saying earlier about using technology, using big data. Big data is the new oil. I know UNDP, WFP, UNHCR have done a lot on big data, but I'd like you to consider things like, I don't know how many of you know MOOCs, massive open online courses. They're available for free, but you can learn about blockchain, you can learn about other things. And again, so on this one, a lot of people are using artificial intelligence, not just commercially. So here I bought my Movidia stick with me. It's $60, but it's artificial intelligence on a USB. It's not expensive for you to play, to learn, and learn how you can adapt what you're doing to be part of that thing. A lot of the drones use Arduino or Raspberry Pi, again, $30, $50 computers, easily done. Go to a MOOC, learn how it works, and then find somebody that wants to do it with you. Coming back to the blockchain, we did it for a reason, and within the humanitarian sector, there's a lot of uses for blockchain. We spoke about transparency, it gives you transparency. We spoke about being able to track things and know where things are in real time. Again, it doesn't have to be expensive, and in a lot of places, and I bought one with me, I bought the Spot GPS locator. A lot of us use third-party trucks. It's $150 to buy and $150 to run in a year. You throw it in the truck and you know where the truck is. If the driver runs it over, throws it away for $150, it's quickly replaced. So moving forward to how things are likely to change with the logistics in the next few years, one is the hybrid airships that some of you may or may not have seen. They're moving slowly because basically nobody's put an order down to buy one. But they will be here in about 3 to 4 years. The difference with UAVs is the legislation exists for them, and they will have a higher capacity to carry. The initial ones will carry 10 tons, and as a rough idea, they will cost a third of a cost of an Mi-8 helicopter to run. An Mi-8 will take between 3 and 4 tons. This will take 10 tons at a third of the cost. It doesn't need the infrastructure you need for a lot of airfields. It's vertical takeoff, vertical landing. And the other nice thing about things like this is because of their long endurance, you can move, you can move from your main supply warehouse in Dubai straight to wherever you want to go in Juba without going through the issues of all the ports and the road issues that you face in some of these countries. A lot of you will know the figure. It's $5,000 for a container from China to Mombasa, and then another $10,000 to $20,000 to get into South Sudan. So, you have these potentials that are available to come. There's about 7 to 8 companies developing them. Total, for example, has a contract to use airships in Papua New Guinea for oil search, and that way they don't destroy the environment. UAVs, Sanjeev has done a lot on UAVs, and we've come across each other a few times over the last 18 months. He has a lot outside. UAVs, a lot of people are interested in working on them. The legislation will be an issue. Moving them long distances using line of sight, but again, being able to connect with GSM towers and things like that, you'll be able to transfer up to about 10, 15 kilos long distances quite fast. And then again, I'd like to come back to blockchain. Some of you will know Bitcoin, some of you know blockchain for certain things, but blockchain has the main advantage in that it can be used for smart contracts. So you can actually, if this happens, you can actually cut out a lot of the transactions in the middle, you can cut out a lot of the middle people, and you can save some of your costs. And if I go here to some of the currency transactions, you're given money by donors, you can track where it's come from, where it's gone. You can use things like blockchain Ripple, and you can actually save on your currency transactions by using those sort of things. Smart camps, some of you said, you can use blockchain for giving out food, but you use the biometrics. You can link it so that you can use it with a smart wallet, or you can use it with smart cash, whether it's a physical cash or it's a credit card. You can link it so, as I've said here, you can buy chewing gum, but you can't buy chewing gum, but you can buy rice. A lot of you are collecting money from donors, and most of those donors want to see where the money's gone, and they want to be sure they know where their money's gone. Things like blockchain, smart contracts, and smart cash, whether you link it with actual cards or cash or with I mean, M-Pesa, a Kenyan product, led the way. It blazed the way in the world. It was one of the first to be able to do all these telephone transactions, and it really is, you know, to be able to build on that and take it further, you'd be able to do more. And like I said, you'd be able to take it straight from the donors to the end user, track it. You'd be able to reduce your administration costs, and more importantly, if you reduce your currency transaction costs, the money you're giving is more money in your pot. Boom. Sorry. Anything else?
Thank you very much, Carl.
Thank you.